The code to your safety is hidden in the dawn. Do you feel the chaos of the world pressing in? Are you seeking a shelter that cannot be breached? What if the key to an unshakable day is not in your strength, but in His covering? We are unlocking the revelation of Psalm 91, the sacred promise of the Most High's shadow. This is the prayer of the immovable fortress, a direct appeal to the hand that shaped the cosmos. But accessing this divine protection requires one critical act of submission, one you cannot afford to ignore today. What if the outcome of your day was decided not by the storms that appear at noon, but by the anchor you cast at sunrise? Why do some souls navigate the exact same chaos with a supernatural peace, while others are shattered by the first ill wind? We awaken, and almost immediately, the noise begins. The world rushes in through the gates of our minds, the anxieties of yesterday, the demands of today, the fears of tomorrow. We are, in those first waking moments, profoundly vulnerable. Our spirit is soft, unprotected, susceptible to the atmosphere. It is in this precise moment of vulnerability that the most ancient and powerful prayer must be uttered. Lord, place your mighty hand over my life today. This is not poetry. This is not a gentle metaphor. This is a spiritual invocation for a divine architecture. It is an appeal for the immovable fortress to be established over your existence. What is this hand? We speak of it often, but have you ever paused to visualize its magnitude? This is the hand that measured the waters of the oceans in its palm. This is the hand that spread out the heavens like a curtain and carved the valleys. This is the hand that holds the 7 stars, the hand pierced by the nail, the hand that rolled the stone away. When you ask for this hand to be placed over your life, you are asking for the very boundary of creation to become your defense. You are asking the sovereign Creator to hem you in, as David wrote in Psalm 139, to hem you in behind, covering your past regrets and failures with grace, to hem you in before, blocking the path of the enemy and preparing your way with favor. This hand is your fortress. It is not a fortress built of cold stone, but a fortress of living power. Its walls are His faithfulness. Its gates are His righteousness. Its watchtower is His omniscience. Too many approach the day defenseless. They rise and rush, carrying their fragile hopes into a spiritual war zone, wondering why they are so easily wounded. The morning prayer is the drawing of the battle line. It is the conscious act of surrender. You see, the great illusion of the human heart is that we crave control. We believe that if we can just manage our schedules, our finances, and our relationships, we can build our own safety. But this is a fortress of sand. The soul's deepest wisdom, the profound self-knowledge that Christ teaches, is this: true power is not found in your grip on life, but in your surrender to the hand that holds life. When you pray, "Place your hand over me," you are relinquishing the burden of self-protection. You are admitting that your own strategies are insufficient. You are handing the blueprints of your day over to the master architect. Imagine, just for a moment, what it feels like to feel that covering settle upon you. It is a weight, yes, but it is the weight of security, not oppression. It is the pressure of a divine embrace. It is the shadow of the Almighty, Psalm 91. A shadow that falls upon you only because you are dwelling so close to His consuming light. This hand filters the very air you breathe. It intercepts the arrow that flies by day, the sudden bad news, the critical email, the sharp word of betrayal. It does not mean the arrows will not be fired, but it means they will not strike your core. They shatter against the fortress wall. It catches the terror by night, the 3 a.m. anxiety, the spirit of fear that whispers of scarcity and failure. The hand covers your sleeping mind, redeeming your rest. It is a complete 360-degree protection. This is the promise, but it demands your invocation. The fortress does not assemble itself. It awaits the invitation of your faith. Today, right now, you are standing at the gate. The new day is before you. Will you enter it naked and exposed? Or will you enter it clothed in the impenetrable covering of His mighty hand? Your words have creative power. Your voice is the key that locks the gate of the fortress. I invite you to join this collective of faith, to seal this truth in your spirit by declaring it in the comments below. Write and own this. I decree that the hand of the Almighty is my immovable fortress today. I am hemmed in by grace and shielded by power. My mind is secure, my spirit is sealed, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. As you declare this, feel God's presence settle over you like a mantle. Believe that the angels have heard your command and that heaven is already responding. And if this message resonated with you, please share this video by subscribing, liking, and sharing. If it touches your heart, become a member of the channel. Each time you like and share, you strengthen this energy, help this space grow, and bring this light to others in need. A fortress is a location. A stronghold is a place of defined safety. The prayer, Lord, place your hand over my life, is the entry into that fortress. But Psalm 91, the blueprint for this divine protection, begins with a condition. It does not say, he who visits, or he who cries out in emergency. It says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This reveals a profound truth. The immovable fortress is not a place you run to in crisis. It is the place you live from in consecration. But what is this secret place? And how can you, in the midst of a busy, loud, and demanding world, learn to dwell there? The secret place, in Hebrew Sather, is not a physical location. It is not your church building or your prayer closet, though you may find it there. The secret place is a state of the soul. It is the hidden chamber of your heart where you maintain an uninterrupted conversation with the Father. It is the place of total, unfiltered honesty. It is secret because the world cannot see it. It is the place where you remove the masks you wear, the mask of capability, the mask of strength, the mask of spiritual maturity. In the Sether, you are simply a child, exposed and known by Elyon, the Most High God. To dwell here means that your first allegiance, your first point of reference, your first internal conversation, is always with Him. Now, consider the shadow, Tisel. A shadow is a fascinating phenomenon. It has no substance of its own. It is defined entirely by two things, an object and a brilliant light. Furthermore, you cannot be in someone's shadow unless you are standing immediately next to them. The shadow is a sign of proximity. When you pray for His hand to cover you, you are asking to be brought so near to the blinding glory of Jesus, the Shekinah, that you are enveloped in the shade His presence casts. This is not a shadow of darkness or gloom. It is a shadow of relief, a cooling shade in the blistering heat of the world's afflictions. It is the shadow of His hand, the shadow of His wing. To abide in this shadow means your life becomes eclipsed by His. Your small, fragile outline disappears, hidden within the magnificent, powerful outline of the Christ. Why, then, do we so often feel unprotected? Why do we feel the full heat of the day's anxieties? The answer lies in the difference between dwelling and visiting. We visit the secret place in our morning prayer. We go there, make our request, Lord, cover me, and then we run back out into the open field, trying to fight the day in our own strength. But to dwell means to remain. It means carrying that secret place with you. How? By practicing His presence. It means that when the arrow of a conflict flies at work, your first instinct is not to react, but to retreat inwardly to that secret place and ask, Lord, how do we respond to this? When the pestilence of gossip or negativity surrounds you, you remain within the T-cell, the shadow, breathing a different air, protected by the atmosphere of heaven. This is the deeper self-knowledge. Your feeling of safety is directly proportional to your proximity to God. If you feel exposed, it is not because the fortress has moved. It is because you have wandered from the shadow. The morning prayer, place your hand over me, is therefore not a one-time request. It is a declaration of intent. It is you saying, Lord, today I choose to dwell. I choose to stay so close to your heart that my life is hidden in the shadow of your hand. I will not lean on my own understanding. I will not trust my own defenses. My spirit makes its home in you, my immovable fortress. When you consecrate your day to the hand of God, you are activating a specific and powerful security system. The fortress is not passive. It is an active defense against intelligent, targeted threats. Psalm 91:3 gives us the specifics. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. To understand the power of the hand, you must first understand the nature of the weapons it neutralizes. What are these ancient threats in your life today, in this very hour? First, consider the snare of the fowler. A fowler, a hunter of birds, does not hunt with loud noises or sudden movements. He is patient, he is cunning, he studies the bird's habits, and he sets a trap, patch. The trap is camouflaged, appealing, and often baited with something the bird desires. This, my beloved, is the primary strategy of the enemy against your soul. The snare is not the obvious, blatant sin you already know to avoid. The snare is the subtle trap of the mind. It is the harmless compromise. It is the justification for a small cruelty. It is the trap of comparison that steals your joy. It is the offense you nurse until it becomes bitterness. It is the screen addiction that slowly drains your spiritual vitality. It is the logical decision that pulls you just 1 degree off the path of God's will. These are the snares set for you this very day. How does the hand of God, your fortress, deliver you from this? When you pray in the morning, Lord, cover me, you are activating divine discernment. The hand of God gives you supernatural vision. It allows you to see the trap behind the bait. It inserts a holy pause between the temptation and your response. The Holy Spirit whispers, do not go there. That path leads to captivity. The fortress wall is his truth, and it reveals the enemy's lie. But what of the perilous pestilence? This, Dever, is not a trap. It is an atmosphere. It is a spiritual sickness that spreads through the air, the virus of negativity, the plague of hopelessness, the rampant cynicism and spiritual apathy of the age. It is the demonic atmosphere in a workplace, the oppressive spirit in a bloodline. You cannot dodge a pestilence. You can only be immune to it. This is where the imagery of the hand becomes breathtakingly intimate. The psalm continues, he shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. Psalm 91:4. The mighty, fortress-building hand of God transforms into the gentle, protective wing of a mother eagle. This speaks of tenderness, of warmth, of a refuge that is not just safe, but loving. It evokes the very words of Jesus, lamenting over Jerusalem. How often I wanted to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her brood under her wings. Matthew 23:37. This is the self-knowledge that shatters our pride. To be protected by the fortress, you must be willing to make yourself small. You must humble yourself like a chick, acknowledging your fragility, and run to him. His hand, his wing, only covers those who admit they cannot fly through the pestilence on their own. His truth becomes your shield and buckler. The shield, tzinna, was the large, full-body shield used by a soldier in formation. The buckler, sochera, was a smaller, round shield used for close-quarters combat. What does this mean for you? It means that when you abide under his hand, his truth, the sacred word, becomes your total defense. It is your large-scale defense against the pestilence, the big-picture lies of the culture, and your close-quarters defense against the snare, the specific personal temptations. When you pray in the morning, you are not just asking for a vague covering. You are asking the Lord to arm you with his feathers and his truth, making you untouchable by the traps and immune to the sickness of the world. The protection of the immovable fortress, the hand of God, is absolute. It is not a part-time security detail. It does not clock out at 5 p.m. The promise of the psalm is a 24-hour, all-environment covenant. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. Psalm 91:5-6. This covers every dimension of attack, the seen and the unseen, the psychological and the physical, the hidden assault and the blatant crisis. When you pray, Lord, place your hand over my life, you are commissioning the host of heaven to guard every minute of your day and night. Let us dissect these threats, for they are very real. What is the terror by night, Pachad Layla? This is the warfare that happens in your mind when you are alone in the dark. It is the 3 a.m. waking, the cold sweat, the nameless dread that suffocates your peace. It is the spirit of anxiety whispering about your finances. It is the spectral voice of regret reminding you of every past failure. It is the fear of loss, the fear of sickness, the fear of the future. It is a terror, a psychological assault designed to break your spirit before the day even begins. But the promise is that when you dwell under the hand, you shall not be afraid. The hand of God covers your mind. It is the helmet of salvation. It stands guard over your subconscious, rebuking the accuser, reminding you that you are forgiven, sealed, and safe. Then comes the arrow that flies by day, Chetz Yauf. This is the opposite of the terror. It is the overt, sudden, visible attack. It is the phone call with bad news. It is the betrayal by a friend. It is the unexpected bill in the mail. It is the diagnosis from the doctor. It is the sharp-worded email that seeks to wound you. The world is full of these flying arrows. But notice the promise. It is not that the arrow will not be fired. It is that you will not be afraid of it. Why? Because you are inside the immovable fortress. The hand of God is your shield. The arrow may fly, but it cannot penetrate your refuge. It may rattle the walls, but it cannot touch you, the eternal soul hidden in Christ. This is the self-knowledge of the fortified heart. Fear is a form of worship. Whatever you fear, you are acknowledging its power over you. When you fear the arrow, you are magnifying the crisis above the Christ. When you fear the terror, you are magnifying the lie of the enemy above the truth of God. The morning prayer, Lord, place your hand over me, is an act of realignment. It is you declaring, my worship, and therefore my focus, belongs only to God. This trust is what activates the promise. The psalm says, 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. This is the supernatural bubble of the Shekinah shadow. While the world outside the fortress is in chaos, you, the one who dwells in the secret place, are kept in perfect peace, your mind stayed on Him. This is not a denial of reality. It is the imposition of a greater reality. The hand of God is more real than the crisis, more powerful than the terror, and more certain than the arrow. We have explored the fortress, the shadow, the weapons, and the 24-hour protection. But why? Why is this ironclad guarantee given? The final stanza of this divine promise reveals the mechanism and the motive. It all hinges on a single profound condition. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High your dwelling place. Psalm 91:9. This is the key that turns the lock. The hand of God does not cover you automatically. It does not cover you because you are good. It covers you because you have made a choice. You have consciously, willfully, and lovingly chosen Elyon, the Most High God, as your habitation. You have stopped trusting in your own strategies, in money, in status, or in people, and you have transferred the deed of your life to Him. What happens the moment you make this choice? What is activated when your morning prayer is not just a plea for help, but a confirmation of your allegiance? No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. Psalm 91:10-11. The hand of God, which covers you, is the same hand that commands the angelic host. When you are under the hand, you are under the authority that dispatches legions. The fortress comes with a garrison. Angels are assigned to you. Notice their mission: to keep you in all your ways, not just your spiritual ways, in your commute, in your business meetings, in your parenting, in your mundane chores. Their protection is meticulously detailed. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. What astounding love! The God who commands the cosmos, whose hand spans the heavens, is also intimately concerned with the stones on your path. He cares about the small irritations, the minor setbacks, the stumbling blocks that seek to trip you and derail your day. The immovable fortress is not just for the catastrophic missile, it is for the sharp stone. This is the comprehensive, tender, and all-encompassing nature of his protection. He does not want you just to survive the day. He wants you to walk unwounded, with your feet secure on the path he has set. But what if you do stumble? What if the enemy seems to get the upper hand? The promise continues. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. The hand of God does not just protect you from the enemy, it empowers you over the enemy. You are not a cowering victim hiding in a bunker. You are a soldier garrisoned in a fortress, given authority to walk out in victory. You will tread on the lion, the overt, roaring attack, and the cobra, the hidden venomous deception. Finally, the psalm ends with God himself speaking, revealing his motive. The entire covenant is not a cold transaction. It is a passionate, relational promise. Because he has set his love upon me, I will deliver him. I will set him on high. I will be with him in trouble. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation, my Yeshua. Psalm 91:14-16. This is the heart of it all. The fortress is built on love. When your morning prayer, Lord, place your hand over me, comes not from a place of fear, but from a place of love, a deep, abiding setting of your heart upon him, the entire treasury of heaven is opened. He doesn't just save you from trouble. He is with you in trouble. He doesn't just give you life. He satisfies you with it. And he shows you his salvation. Jesus, the living Christ, who is the hand, the fortress, and the very fulfillment of this magnificent promise.